Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is Marcus Rosa, a.k.a. Mazuma TV. Back at y'all with some more boxing talk, man. Just kicking it at the beautiful studio, man. Shout out to my boy George in the back. We definitely getting it popping. We got some things that we currently need to discuss that's going on in the boxing world. But before we get into that, if y'all could please hit the like, hit the subscribe button, share the video. Whatever you could do to support the channel, it is very much appreciated. Now, this is something that's been going around in the boxing world. I've seen some people speaking on it, so I decided to speak my piece on it as well. One of the biggest things that has come out so far, Conor Benn. And we're not going to speak about the whole situation between Eddie Hearn and him leaving Matchroom to sign with Zuffa Boxing for an 8-figure deal, 1-fight deal. We're going to speak about that a little bit, but we're just going to speak about what he has officially announced. Conor Benn has officially announced that he will be fighting on Tyson Fury's undercard. I believe it's April 18th. Tyson Fury's undercard against Arslan Beck, or one of those. I'm sorry if I mispronounce his last name, but regardless, he'll be fighting in the United Kingdom as the co-main event. And a lot of people have been wondering, for that $15 million deal, who is it that Conor Benn is going to be facing next? And I ain't going to lie, considering that there was going to be 8 figures on the line, I thought he was going to fight somebody that was like currently relevant. I'm thinking of like a current champion like Rolly Romero, you know what I mean? Didn't really think too much of a Devin Haney, but I'm even thinking of a Shakur Stevenson, you know what I mean? My boy Justin Jackson in the building, what up? I'm thinking of a few different options, but like big current names, relevant names, Chris Maldonado, what up? But it turns out that it was literally somebody that we did not expect at all. And it ends up being Regis, the Rougarou Prograis. Oh my God. This is crazy, man. This shit crazy, and I had the way my hair looking right now. You feel what I'm saying? But Regis Prograis has been selected to be Conor Benn's comeback fight into the welterweight division. But technically, it's not the welterweight division, because according to the information that I had gathered, the fight is going to be taking place at 150 pounds. So that is a catch weight between the welterweight limit and the super welterweight limit, between 147 and 154, right? J-Day, thank you for clarifying that in the chat. Thank you very much. So we're taking somebody in Regis Prograis, who to my knowledge has never competed at a high level at welterweight. He was a 2-time champion at 140, but is clearly on the decline in my opinion, man. He's coming off of several losses in his career, man. You talking about, being outclassed by Devin Haney. Before that, he had a tough fight where a lot of people thought that it could have went the other way. Then now you're going into, I believe he lost to Jack Catterall. Then he had a real iffy fight with Jojo Diaz where he got rocked several times throughout the fight. Regis Prograis is not the person that he once was when he was champion. The age has definitely caught up to him, and subconsciously he knows that he's not at a high level anymore, because he's even alluded to wanting to go to MMA and doing bare knuckle. When people are thinking about taking on other careers, after, some setbacks, that already lets you know that they're not as confident in their abilities as they once were when they were at their peak. You see what I'm saying? So Regis Prograis, Conor Benn is just coming off of back-to-back fights in the middleweight division at 160 pounds. This dude is a lot bigger than Regis Prograis. He's boiling down in weight, and I think that the transition to 147 isn't going to be an easy one, because if Conor Benn actually believed that it would have been an easy cut, then he probably wouldn't have taken the catch weight. So it looks like he's slowly but surely getting down to the weight, so then he'll be able to compete for the welterweight title whenever that deal is up with Zuffa. Now, what do I think about the fight? It's a trash fight. It's clearly a trash fight. For Conor Benn to be doing all this hooting and hollering, you see what I'm saying? And, oh yeah, he also lost to Josh Taylor. Absolutely. Justin on point today. Shout out to the brother in the building. But he, like I said, Regis Prograis is coming off of several losses in his career, and he's not who he once was. Now, for all that hooting and hollering that Conor Benn does, attaching his name to Devin Haney, attaching his name to Shakur Stevenson, attaching his name to Rolly Romero, for you to go ahead and go against those plans, sign with Zuffa, pretty much stab Eddie Hearn in the back. You're fighting at a catchweight, and you're fighting somebody in Regis Prograis who has little to no experience being anywhere near that weight. Is absolutely insanity to me. But that just lets you know that Conor Benn ain't really about what he be talking about, in all honesty, man. You can't be talking about A, B, and C, and then you know what I'm saying? You over here talking about, you know, F and G. You feel what I'm saying? Like it just don't add up to what you've been talking about. So very, very disappointing, to be honest with you. But one thing I am gonna give kudos to is great management. Holy shit! Shout out to Keith Connolly, somebody who's been awarded Manager of the Year back to back in his career, and we see why. And we see why, man. Because if you're able to get your guy, Regis Prograis, a one-fight deal with Zuffa for according to reports, $15 million, and you could basically fight whoever you want, including a Regis Prograis who's clearly not anywhere near that weight division. You know what I'm saying? It's clearly on the decline and is a shell of who he once was. To get $15 million for Regis Prograis right now? I can't find anybody that could get $15 million for Regis Prograis while he was in his prime. When he had his first world title, when he had his second world title, I can't recall anybody getting 8 figures for a Regis Prograis fight. So the fact that Keith Connolly was able to get them dudes at Zuffa to sign a contract to give Conor Benn a one-fight deal for $15 million, bro, against Regis Prograis, that's a phenomenal job. Shout out to Keith Connolly for putting that together. That's a phenomenal deal, man. I wish I ain't gonna lie. If I was a professional boxer, I would have gave my manager a raise just based off that. You giving me a certified meal ticket. You giving me and he's already coming off a big back-to-back payday, so we're not even talking about that. Them Chris Eubank fights back-to-back, he generated 8 figures each time, according to reports. Now you get another 8-figure deal, and there's nowhere near somebody who is as dangerous as a Chris Eubank. So you took a step down in competition, but still maintain the same revenue. You got to give much applause to Keith Connolly for getting that done for his fighter. And that's what managers are here for. I know a lot of people act like managers don't matter, like Tim Bradley said and all of that. But I would love for you guys to find a fighter that doesn't have a manager that's able to get these type of deals done, that is not a world champion or have much leverage in the game. You see what I'm saying? Shout out to my boy Jalil Aziz in the building. He said, that is so corny, bro. Conor is a flea for this, cuz. Listen, man, it is what it is. We can't change what they got going on, but it's clear that Conor Benn isn't necessarily focused on taking these big fights at this point in time, man. He's more about the revenue. He's more about adding these dollars up before he gets into these fights that he may possibly take a L in. It is what it is. You see what I'm saying? But shout out to everybody that's in the building. What do I think about the possibility of Regis Prograis winning this fight against Conor Benn? Absolutely not. I don't see that happening whatsoever. I don't really see what Regis Prograis brings to the table at this point in his career that's going to be too much for Conor Benn to handle. Conor Benn is significantly bigger. Conor Benn is faster. You know what I mean? He's more athletic. He may punch just as hard as I'm willing to bet, because Regis is known for being a big puncher, but considering the size and how Conor Benn was able to bring his punching power up to middleweight, I'm sure he may be the bigger puncher than Regis Prograis. Not only that, but I'm almost willing to bet that Conor Benn is also more durable than Regis Prograis. We just seen Regis Prograis come off of an iffy win against Joseph Diaz and get hurt by Joseph Diaz multiple times. Somebody who fought as low as 126 pounds. Not only that, but that's also a washed version of Jojo Diaz as well, who has taken losses back to back to back, just like Regis. So this was supposed to be a layup fight, and then he had to fight for his life in order to get the decision that some people don't even feel like he was worthy of getting. So this is a layup at its finest, man. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they feel like he's worth the $15 million just because he was able to be a big draw, you know, in the UK before and back-to-back fights with Eubank. So maybe they feel like even if he's fighting somebody who's insignificant or relevant in boxing right now, because he is a draw and because he puts asses in seats, he could justify getting that $15 million payday regardless of who he fights. You see what I'm saying? J-Day said Regis had Bambi legs. Wow. He definitely did. He was definitely rocked. Red Rum in the building. He said, Marcus, they both got equal IQ, though. I feel Regis has more technical ability in his hands while Benn has better footwork. I disagree with that at this point in time, Red Rum. I think that what we seen previously with Regis Prograis is not who he currently is now. You know what I'm saying? If you're struggling to take punching power for somebody like Jojo Diaz, I can only imagine the type of punishment that you will be able to absorb against a bigger, stronger guy and Regis and Conor Benn. And Conor Benn is a great combination puncher. He has fast hands. He lets his hands go, and he's also in phenomenal shape as well. So I don't really see anything at this point in time that leads me to believe that Regis Prograis has the advantage. And you're talking about a 10-pound weight move up. A 10-pound weight move up when you are already on the decline. Your best days are behind you. You know, Regis Prograis in his, mid to late 30s? Wear and tear? You see what I'm saying? You struggling to look, good against guys that you're supposed to beat at 140, and then you're supposed to go up 10 pounds to 150 and, do something against somebody who's at the height of their career. Then on top of that, let's take into consideration, Conor Benn has used performance enhancement drugs before, whether it was knowingly or unknowingly. This is somebody who has had, PEDs in his system. So you don't know what he's coming into the fight with. Maybe he need a little additional help. He may need some additional juice just to get them 10 pounds off of him that he had in, the last fight. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of these dudes be taking diuretics and, taking these performance enhancement drugs to help them shed weight quicker. We don't know what type of time. Conor Benn is going to be on in the lead up to this fight, man. Shout out to Karma Serene in the building. I haven't seen you in a long time. Hope everything's going well with you and yours. She says they just needed someone who could help Conor look good. That's ultimately what it is. Man. They want to make him look good. Keith Connolly wants him to look good, pause, so that when he goes into these big fights with a possible Shakur Stevenson, which I think, at this point, I think Shakur Stevenson should just let that fight go. I heard Ryan Garcia say he'll go down to 140 to fight him. That might be cap. But if you're fighting at 150 pounds, it's really hard for me to believe that Conor Benn is going to go down to a catch weight to fight you. Like, if he's coming in at 150, it's because he's probably having a little bit of a tough time getting down to 147. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to Chris Maldonado. He said, I just read on Ring Magazine that Prograis is very well known in Britain for losing fights. It's bigger than Britain, brother. It's bigger than Britain. He's known for losing fights in the boxing world, period, especially as of lately. So if this was like a younger Regis Prograis, of course, he would have had an opportunity. But even then, man, that additional 10 pounds may be a serious issue. You know what I'm saying? Going up against a significantly bigger guy. Can't nobody tell me that Regis is as big as Conor Benn. You know what I mean? Conor Benn has a chin. He could take a punch. You know what I'm saying? So when Regis hits him with all he got and Conor Benn doesn't go anywhere, then what? What were we relying on? Were we relying on boxing ability? I don't know Regis Prograis for being this phenomenal outboxer. If he was, he should have been able to outbox Jojo Diaz. But guess what? He went toe-to-toe, blow for blow with him, and didn't really look too good. You feel what I mean? Karma put the juice emojis in the pudding. It's possible. It's possible. Derek Moore, shout out to the maestro. He was in the building. George, you know who the maestro is. Shout out to the boy Derek in the building. He said, I got him stopping Regis in 5. That's quick work. That's quick work. Does Regis have the feet to, get away from, Conor Benn? Does he have the upper body movement to avoid shots from Conor Benn, who has fast hands? I just don't see what he could bring out of his tool bag at this point in his career when he is clearly on a decline to neutralize Conor Benn's offense. Because Conor Benn don't got the best defense neither. He's there to be hit. But do you have the firepower to disrupt or discourage a Conor Benn? Do you have the defense necessary to neutralize Conor Benn's offense and make him pay and take advantage of his lack of defense? I just don't see it happening. I've seen several because as soon as I got the news this morning that this was the fight that was announced, I went back and watched a little bit of Regis Prograis. You know what I mean? I watched the Devin Haney fight. I watched the Jojo Diaz fight. I didn't see anything that let me feel like he has what it takes to beat Conor Benn. You know what I'm saying? And Conor Benn, even though he beat a dehydrated, drained Chris Eubank Jr., he did showcase some good things, man. I seen him show composure in there. I seen him putting his combinations together. I seen endurance. I seen mental fortitude. There was a lot of things that I seen in there, man. I seen him be able to make adjustments in there. I just think that Conor Benn totally outmatches Regis Prograis all in all. So I think this is going to be a wash waiting to happen. I would not be surprised if this is the first fight that Regis Prograis gets knocked out in and then he rides off into the sunset as a result of that. Because that's another thing. Mentally, Regis Prograis already got 1 foot out of the door because he's already spoke about retiring several times after losing fights. Remember, he was talking about, oh, you know, after losing a fight, oh, man, I think I'm going to just go over to MMA, man. And then when he lost another fight, you know, I think I'm going to just go over to bare knuckles. So when people are having those type of thoughts after losing fights, it's because they don't really believe in themselves how they once did. If you're looking for a plan B, you're not all in with plan A. It's really that simple. So, you know, it is what it is. My boy, the Maestro, followed up. He said, I feel like his experience going to carry him for a second, then Ben going to catch up and clip him. I wouldn't be surprised if it's an early night. Like, I just don't see. Because if Conor Benn gets it kicked off early, what is Regis Prograis going to do to stop that? Is he going to catch the shots? Is he going to slip the shots? I don't know him for being good with the high guard. I don't know him for, you know, slipping punches well. Not later on in his career. He was a little bit elusive early on. You know what I'm saying? But cause I seen him use a lot of upper body movement when he was younger and fighting on showbox and stuff like that. But things have changed since then. And Regis Prograis is very flat-footed, so he's going to be a sitting duck for Conor Benn's offense. I think this is just a tailor-made fight for Conor Benn to make him look good, so that when he exits that Zuffa deal, he could go into free agency and get these big fights with possibly a Shakur Stevenson, a Rolly Romero. You know, he still may very well be ranked #1 in the WBC. He may face Ryan Garcia later on in the year. So there's a lot of options out there for him. My boy Joshua Medina, he said, I'm convinced Ben is chasing fights against guys who are chinny. Rolly, Eubank, Regis. He even wanted the Amir Khan fight for the Glass Chin King. Listen, man, I always knew that Conor Benn was a duck because I remember when Jaron Ennis had just signed with Matchroom. Y'all rewind back with me. And they was talking about Conor. You know what I'm saying? We just seen that Jaron Ennis sign with Matchroom, and that's a fight that we could get going. And he was like, well, you know, to be honest, to be fair, you know, I really, you know, Jaron Ennis is not a big name. You know, when I think of big names, I'm thinking of Amir Khan, Kell Brook, Manny Pacquiao. You know, he talking about, bro, and the three guys was retired. That was what was killing me. I'm like, bro, they're retired right now. Kell Brook and Amir Khan both retired after fighting each other. And then you talking about Manny Pacquiao. At that time, he didn't even come back to fight Barrios yet. And you mentioned Mario Barrios, who was the weakest link in the division at that point in time. One of the worst champions in boxing until Ryan Garcia went ahead and took that belt from him. So you're telling me that those guys are names, but Jaron Ennis isn't? Jaron Ennis a bigger name? I mean, Mario Barrios a bigger name than Jaron Ennis? Y'all your rabbit ass mind. Chris Maldonado said Ben targeting Ryan or Rolly in the long run. I mean, that's what he should be doing. If your intention is on being a world champion and getting to some money, then, you know, you rank #1 in the WBC, and Rolly Romero showed interest in fighting you. So you have two avenues that you could go to. And to be honest, I don't understand why he didn't take a Rolly Romero fight, you know, coming off of that win against Chris Eubank. Maybe he doesn't, maybe he wants a little tune-up fight to get acclimated or getting back, shrinking back down to welterweight. I don't really know what it is. Shout out to James Jones in the building. He over there laughing at me. What, you like the UK accent? Is that what it is? 147? Welterweight? Yeah. Conor Benn trying to get down to welterweight. Huh? Yeah. The big names. The big names of the division. You know, we're talking about Kell Brook, Amir Khan, Manny Pacquiao. You know, that's what I call names. When I'm in Philly, you know, they know me in Philly. They don't know Boots. I'm like, you crazy? Come on, man. He sold, what, 16, 17,000 people at the Wells Fargo? They know who he is. Josh went ahead and said, ain't no surprise he moving back down to 47 after Boots and Virgil moved to 54. That's a fact, brother. That's a great point right there, man. That's a great point. His whole Conor Benn, you know, I feel like he's a type dude that he does a whole lot of talking. He do a whole lot of barking and all that. And if you believe in words, you'll believe Conor Benn like, oh, yeah, he really want to smoke. But we could tell based off of how the way he moves, he's very calculated and he's real selective with who he fights. Just look at how the way he talks about Devin Haney. You know, Devin Haney, he's boring. You know, I was falling asleep. You know, you're saying all of this stuff, but you're really saying that because you don't want fans to demand that fight. So you're looking for a way to degrade his abilities so that way fans be like, you know what, he is boring. I don't want to see that fight. That's what they're hoping. That's what guys like Conor Benn and Eddie Hearn are hoping that fans say so they won't feel that pressure. They won't feel that demand for the fight. But we all know what somebody like Devin Haney will do with not Chris. Shout out to Chris Eubank. You know what somebody like Devin Haney will do to Conor Benn. Because Conor Benn is offensively gifted, in my opinion. He does have some gifts. He's explosive, got good power, good speed. You know what I mean? He's quick in terms of reflexes. He has some good things going on, but up here, you can have all the abilities, but if you're not clicking up here with your physical abilities, it's really hard for me to believe that you're going to be elite. Elite fighters are just as powerful or gifted in the mind as they are with the physical. If you're lacking either one, you're going to have a tough time being an elite level fighter. Your mind has to be aligned with your physical in order for you to be in your prime and be an elite fighter. Conor Benn, great physical attributes. Don't really feel like he's an intelligent fighter up here. And it may be because he started boxing late. Maybe he didn't have, the best trainers to, build on his knowledge and things of that nature. You know what I mean? I don't really know what it is. But Conor Benn will get exposed from an IQ aspect, being in there with guys who match his physical abilities, but then also have the IQ, like a Shakur Stevenson, a Devin Haney. And I feel like he's blatantly avoiding them styles because he knows that they'll give him a boxing lesson. Let's just keep it real. SOBTV, what up? An age in the building. He said, notice Ben says Devin Haney and Shakur fights are boring, but he always ringside for their fights. Yeah, because he wants to attach himself to those names. Because even though he acknowledges that they're boring fighters, he understands that they're popular fighters. So how can I attach myself to those guys' names without having to fight them? Just be around them. Just be around them and talk about them. Whenever you bring them up in interviews, people are going to post the interviews. They're going to be like, oh, Conor Benn said this about Shakur. Oh, Conor said this about, Devin Haney. Conor Benn went into that ring with Shakur Stevenson knowing damn well he wasn't going to fight him next. But, you know what I mean? If you could get a little bit of attention out of the moment, your stock rises. You're more talked about. You're more in demand. And if the more in demand you are, the more money you're going to be able to bring home. He just signed a $15 million deal, according to reports. And he's fighting Regis Prograis. Like, I need people to really understand that, like, that's great management, but goddamn, like, I wish I could get some type of opportunity like that. Or any other professional fighter. I'm sure they will love. That's a cakewalk. It's a cakewalk. And I'm not trying to disrespect Regis, but come on, man. You know all the, like, Regis can't sit here in front of me and tell me that the odds ain't stacked against him. That Conor Benn don't have what it take to beat him. He can sit here and talk all confidently like he wants. He knows that this fight is set for him to lose. So I hope Regis making a good bag off of this, man. Bella Faith in the building. Shout out to Bella. She saying Shakur used to use his moment to call out Ben. That was dumb. Yeah, I agree. I don't understand why Shakur Stevenson even took the bait with that. It's like he allowed them to play chess with him. You know what I'm saying? Because Conor Benn, yapping. Shakur Stevenson is an emotional / competitive individual. So he gets a rise out of people doubting him. And that's all Conor Benn did in the lead up to this fight. Doubt him. Or talk about how, he'll do this and that to Shakur. Whole time, he doesn't have any intentions on fighting you, brother, but you took the bait. He got in the ring. Y'all have a moment. That moment goes viral. Now everybody's talking about Conor Benn. Now he's making a name off of your moment. It's a chess move. He knows what he's doing. Conor Benn is not an idiot, man. You know what I'm saying? Big Soldier MX, he said Ben probably be fighting AB next. Yo, I wouldn't be surprised. I really would not be surprised if he was to take Adrian Broner up out of the depths of hell to go ahead and fight him just to add another name to his resume. Not Regis. Conor Benn is that type of individual. He's a vulture. You know what I'm saying? You know how the vultures, when you watch an Animal Planet, the animals, they start walking slower. You know what I mean? They start dying down or whatever the case is. And then all of a sudden, the vultures swoop down and they feed off of the carcass. That's Conor Benn for you. He's a vulture. It is what it is. Jeffrey Tate in the building. He said, but Regis has a chance. He is a better fighter than Eubank. I disagree, brother. At this point in time, I don't see Regis being a better fighter than Chris Eubank at all. You know what I'm saying? He may be a more accomplished fighter than Chris Eubank. You know what I'm saying? He definitely won 2 world titles. Conor Benn had Chris Eubank had like an IBO, but we don't really acknowledge that, in the boxing space. Maybe more accomplished, but at this point in time, even though Chris Eubank showed to be very deteriorated in his last fight, I don't know that at this point in time if Regis is better than Chris Eubank. Even if he is, Regis Prograis is significantly smaller than Chris Eubank. Size does play a part in this fight. Conor is going to be significantly bigger than Regis. Size does play a part, especially when you got guys that are about even in the skill set department. What usually takes over after the fact is size. I don't care what anybody says. Skills pay the bills. but there's only so much that it could pay until size becomes a factor. Shakur Stevenson is skilled than just about anybody in this world. You put him in there with a guy who's significantly bigger, who's able to walk him down, absorb his shots, close the gap, let his punches go, Shakur will have a tough time. And Shakur knows that size matters. That's why he's not really willing to face full-blown welterweights, and that's why he's offering catch weights and stuff like that. That's it. He said, Ben a turkey vultured. Yo, I ain't hear that in a minute. That's hilarious. Even with the rehydration. Okay. I mean, you entitled to your opinion, Jeff. I'm just letting you know that I disagree with you, first of all. And I think that Regis Prograis. So what you're doing right now by giving Regis Prograis a chance is you're pretty much accepting of Conor Benn taking this opportunity when there were much bigger fights that were in front of him. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a trash fight. Ain't nobody ever asked for this fight. If you would have put on I would have never ever expected. If you would have told me, if you would have looked into the future and be like, yo, you know that Conor Benn and Regis Prograis going to fight, right? I would have told you a liar, because that fight makes zero sense at all. But they about to use Regis Prograis as their sacrificial lamb, and when they fight, what is that, April 18th? We gonna see. And that shit gonna be shown right on Netflix for everybody to see, man. So big platform, big paydays on the line. I hope Regis Prograis is getting paid a lot of money as well. This might be his last big opportunity. I ain't gonna lie to you. T says, so Regis going to 47, I see. He's going past 47. Technically, this is a 54-pound contest. Anything past 47 is a super welterweight contest. This is at 150 pounds, so Regis really moving up 2 weight classes, if we keeping it real. Bully said, Regis does have a hard time making 40. He mess around and be stronger. Okay, give him the benefit. I see what y'all doing. Y'all giving him the benefit of the doubt. It sounds good. It sounds good. We'll see, though. My boy Josh in the building, he said, I knew Ben was soft when I heard he got a beard transplant to look more manly. Yes, that did happen, and we did speak about that on the live. He said he wanted to look more menacing. He wanted to look more intimidating. You know, I wanted to look more intimidating. You know, I don't have no facial hair, so it's hard for me to look tough. But with my beard, with my new beard, and now people they fear me. That's an insecure individual, man. You know what I mean? Facial hair shouldn't determine whether you're feared or not, man. It's really about how the way you move. It's your energy. It's your persona. And why you want to be feared so bad? You know what I'm saying? Because you grew up like a golden spoon child. You was born with a silver spoon. That's why you feel the need to try to, you know, prove that you tough. It's just like, it's a lot of insecurity within Conor Benn with the PED tests and all of that stuff. And you got a beard transplant, bro, and you was in your 20s at the time. What are you doing? This the weird individual, man. I don't know what Nigel was doing when he was raising him. But Red Rum said, I agree, Conor should win. I just feel like Regis is going to go out on his shield. It shows some good moments, especially if the fight goes in the later rounds. We've seen how fast Ben runs out of gas. Man, I think y'all got Conor Benn misconstrued, man. I think he showed pretty good conditioning, to be honest with you. But I've seen Regis in moments where it looked like he had trouble pulling the trigger. So for me to think that he going to move up 10 pounds and then be able to pull the trigger and you know, time, Conor Benn and all that, I just don't see this being a competitive fight at all. Now, Regis, if you prove me wrong, and I've been proven wrong before, I'll come on here and apologize, but I just don't see a way that you win, brother. I really don't. Junior said, Regis Ben wanted to move to 47, though he kept telling that. What? Okay. T said he got facial hair implant just to be trimming it. Yeah, I seen him shave it. Like, what are you doing? I just want to be able to know that I have it. It's like, what are you doing, bro? Like, you got a beard transplant just to shave it. It's like, all right, bro, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, these dudes be indecisive. Like, he also be like dyeing his hair white and like on some Stan shit. You know the Eminem music video with Stan? Yeah. That's the type time Conor Benn on. He having like an identity crisis or something. But all right, y'all. This was a great topic. I appreciate everybody that came through and showed love as always. I ain't gonna lie, George. I thought this was gonna be a video, but it's a live. But hey, man, I rock with it regardless. You know, we go live every day, and I'll be live again 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to continue cooking up on what's going on in the boxing world, man. Yo, please leave y'all comments. Let me know what y'all thinking about Conor Benn signing a $15 million deal with Zuffa just to fight Regis Prograis on Tyson Fury's undercard out in the UK. You let me know, is that a good fight? Is it a trash fight? What do you want to see Conor Benn do next? How do you see the fight going? Just let me know what y'all think overall about this. This is Marcus Rosa, a.k.a. Mazuma TV. Hope y'all have a blessed, beautiful night. I'm up out of here, man. Peace.